As everyone knows, the Republican Party right now has the majority in both the House and the Senate. And I know it's not some 50-seat majority in the House and a 12-seat majority in the Senate. I know it's not that big. I know it's a couple seats in the House and the Senate. But even then, right now, the Republican Party has a majority. And despite that, and having the presidency as well, as of now, they have accomplished nothing. Like, I cannot name one single thing this majority has done in what, 3 months? Guys, it's been 3 months, and the only thing that you have passed is a CR, which is the absolute bare minimum, and we expect more. And in fact, I have been criticizing them for months. Everyone knows this. I have been attacking these Republicans in the House and the Senate for months now because, as of now, they've done nothing. I know their majority is not some 50-seat majority. I get that, especially in the House. Right now, the House majority is very small, and you have to deal with idiots like Thomas Massie. I understand that. I understand that you have to wait for the special elections, but even then, you haven't accomplished a damn thing, which is absolutely pathetic because guess what, guys? You may not have a majority after 2026, so you have, like, 2 years to get stuff through, and even then, I'm, like, pushing it. I mean, you may have a year, because when it becomes January 1st of 2026, I guarantee you, some of these more moderate Republicans, even though they're in Trump districts, these are Trump districts that he won by like 10 points or whatever, they're going to say, we can't pass anything controversial because it's an election year. That's what I'm worried about. And the Republicans got to wake up, but it does seem like we're finally getting something done. As according to NBC News, Speaker Mike Johnson floats eliminating federal courts as GOP ramps up attacks on judges.
Not what the founders intended. So there's a natural tension between the branches of the government, and we're working through that. The Judiciary Committee is looking at alternatives. One of the bills that I really like that's already been through committee was authored by Representative Darrell Issa, and that would limit the scope of federal injunctions, the ability of one individual judge to abuse the system in this way.
And I know NBC News, they try to put their spin on it, like they're saying, oh, Republicans are ramping up the attacks on the judges. They're a threat to our democracy. You know, the same crap they've been doing for years. But the important part is the first half, where it says, yeah, Mike Johnson, he actually is supporting, or at least considering, the idea of eliminating federal courts. Which, let's be honest here, the current judicial system we got right now is a complete joke. Like, these judges the past couple of weeks, I knew they were radicals, but holy crap. These people are actually insane. They don't care about the process, they don't care about the law, they don't care about any of that stuff. They only care about stopping the Orange Man. And it's gotten so bad that it seems like some Republicans in the House are finally realizing, oh crap, we have a rogue judicial system right now that if we don't resolve ASAP, we're not going to be able to resolve in a couple of years. Facing pressure from his right flank to take on judges who have ruled against President Trump, Speaker Mike Johnson of Louisiana on Tuesday floated the possibility of Congress eliminating some federal courts. Good. It's about damn time that we deal with these judges. It's the latest attack from Republicans on the federal judiciary, as courts have blocked a series of actions taken by the Trump administration. And there's the spin. NBC News and others, they're going to say this is a threat to our democracy. They're attacking our judiciary system. No, what's actually happening are these rogue, corrupt judges. They're trying to usurp the powers of the President of the United States. They're basically saying Trump can't do anything. He can't fire anybody. He can't do anything. He can't initiate any executive order. Nothing. These judges are blocking every single thing. And not just small things that don't matter. No, they're trying to dictate military policy. They're trying to dictate funding. They're trying to dictate all this stuff, which is just crazy. And it's gotten so bad that even Republicans in the House, they're finally realizing, yeah, we have a big problem here. In addition to funding threats, Trump and his conservative allies have called for the impeachment of certain federal judges who ruled against him. Which, it's not just because they're ruling against Trump. No, that's not the issue. Again, it's bad enough that they're making these dumb decisions, these rulings, but the way that they're operating, where you can tell they're trying to derail this presidency, that's the problem. Half these judges, they have ties to U.S. aid. Like, they have family in U.S. aid, they have family in these departments, and they clearly have a bias. And instead of recusing themselves, they're just saying, no, Trump bad, Orange Man bad, you lose. That's what they're doing. Most notably, U.S. District Judge James Boasberg, who attempted to halt Trump from using the Alien Enemies Act to deport Venezuelan migrants. And this was the case that really made people wake up. I mean, it was getting bad, but when people heard about this case where it's like, wait, you're trying to stop the president from deporting people, and in fact, these guys are on a plane and they're already in Central America, but we have to bring them back? Wait, what? Who the hell are you to decide this? And that's the worst part about all of this. It's not a panel of judges. It's one judge that can just dictate all this policy. Listen, if it wasn't like 4 or 5 judges or whatever, that's one thing. If it was a panel of like 5 judges or 3, okay, that's one thing. But what's happening right now is the Democrat Party, they're purposely going to these partisan judges that they know they're going to win no matter what with. And they're getting these victories in court. That's what they're doing. And we got to stop this because this is insane. This was never the point of the system. And the Democrat Party, they have been abusing this for years. But now it has gotten so bad that now we're talking about, getting rid of some of these courts. We do have the authority over the federal courts, as you know. We can eliminate an entire district court. We have power of funding over the courts and all these other things. Johnson told reporters on Tuesday, but desperate times calls for desperate measures as Congress is going to act. Good. It's about damn time we finally have a speaker say this. I know people like Mike Lee and Brandon Gill, they've been talking about this for a couple weeks now, but Speaker Mike Johnson and leadership, they've been very quiet about this. But now it seems like, yeah, the Speaker Mike Johnson is seriously considering ending this once and for all. And he's right, by the way. They have the power to eliminate an entire district court. And it's happened. It's not something that has never happened. It has happened a couple times where they abolished a certain court. And I think it's time we do that. Again, I know you don't want to really mess with the judicial system that much, but at this point, these judges, they're the threat to democracy. That's a funny part about all of this. The judges were completely unelected. They've been here for decades, or in some cases for 5 minutes, and they can dictate all the federal policy. One judge in California, theoretically, has more power than the President of the United States. Is anyone fine with that? I don't care if they're a Democrat, Republican. That doesn't matter. That's insane. We're not talking about a panel of judges. No, we're talking about one judge. One very corrupt judge who, by the way, his wife is a part of U.S. aid. They can just decide everything the president does is illegal. That's the problem. And we got to end this now because this is insane. I don't care who you are. You cannot have a country function like this. And the worst part is, it's not just these lower courts. Look at the Supreme Court right now. The Supreme Court ran by Roberts is a joke. I know we have good ones like Alito and Thomas, but guys, there's only 2 of the 9 that are, we know for a fact, are excellent. Yeah, Gorsuch is pretty good, but the other ones like Kavanaugh and especially Barrett, they're questionable. So even the one court that has a 6-3 majority, at least on paper, is worthless. I mean, guys, a couple of weeks ago, Chief Justice Roberts, who is supposedly this principled conservative that wants to protect the integrity of the courts, this guy is so serious and so principled that he hasn't put out one single statement on these rogue judges. And in fact, he put out a statement to the left-wing news outlets, by the way, to like NBC, Politico, and the AP, saying the Orange Man cannot attack the courts. He's wrong. We're never wrong. The courts are perfectly fine. Impeachment's bad. That's what he said. He leaked a memo to left-wing news outlets. The Chief Justice of the Supreme Court did that. That's the principled conservative that's gonna save the courts. Yeah, he's full of crap. He's corrupt. He's worthless. And now we're to a point now where this Supreme Court's not gonna do a damn thing. It sucks, but they're not. They should have stepped in immediately. The millisecond these judges try to pull this crap on day 1, that's when the Supreme Court should have acted. But nope, these people are so incompetent that they just let it fester. And now Congress has to step in to stop it. I mean, guys, these orders are just insane. Like, look at this. A little while ago, like 20 minutes ago, a federal judge just ruled against Kari Lake and the Trump administration, forcing them to continue funding deep state propaganda radio stations in Europe. Yeah, this is a real ruling. These judges are saying, oh, you don't have any power. You cannot decide any policy. You can't decide where the money goes. So you can't decide any of that. But we can. We are unelected judges, but we can decide everything. But oh, you are elected president and you pick Kari Lake for this position? No, you have no power. You can't do anything. You don't have any control over any of this. This is insane. And it's been a bunch of decisions like this. I mean, guys, one of the judges cited Hamilton. Now, not the Federalist Papers. No. She cited the musical Hamilton for her decision. What? So you're telling me you're going to cite Hamilton. You're not going to cite the Constitution. You're not going to cite any of that. No. You're going to cite a shitty musical for your decision. That's how serious our courts are right now. They're not citing anything based off of actual law or precedent. No. It just, they had a dream. They had a dream last night, and that's their decision. And you think I'm kidding? One of these judges literally reversed himself. Yeah. One of these judges, one day ago, was saying the complete opposite thing than what he was saying today. And basically came down to, I had a dream last night, and I changed my decision. I control everything now. That's what he said. We have to end this now. How can anyone defend this? This is what's happening. And not just one judge, not two. It's like a third of the judicial system right now is pulling this crap. It is a coup against the president. They're trying to usurp the powers of the president so he can't do anything. And we have to stop this now because the Supreme Court, they're worthless. They're not going to do a damn thing about it, which is sad, but that's what's happening. These judges, they're so corrupt, and they know the Supreme Court, especially ran by Chief Justice Roberts, is not going to do a damn thing. We are in such a bad situation that we have to deal with this now because we have the majority. And at this point, the average American would support it because these are 80-20 issues that these corrupt judges are ruling on. Like the transgender stuff, 80% of Americans agree with what Trump did. And one judge said, no, it's illegal. Yeah, make Democrats do that crap. That stuff's unpopular. So I actually hope Democrats keep doing that. Because the more they pull that crap where it's like, yeah, so one judge in California can decide everything, the more unpopular the system becomes. Because what the average judge is doing is saying, Trump won the popular vote, he won all the swing states, he won everything, we don't care. We decide everything. It doesn't matter what he's doing is popular. It doesn't matter if it's even constitutional. It doesn't matter. We're going to say no to everything because Orange Man bad. He's a threat to our democracy. Isn't that ironic, by the way, that the party that's, supposedly a threat to our democracy, the Republican Party and Trump, they're such a threat to our democracy that these unelected judges are forcing this crap through without any say, without any questions, and it's becoming even more absurd. Every day becomes even more crazy, and I'm hoping it ends now. Speaker Mike Johnson and Majority Leader Thune, you guys got to wake up and deal with this ASAP, because we're not going to be saved by the Supreme Court. It sucks, but we have to admit that. We have to realize that they're not going to save us. They're not going to do anything. In fact, they love what's happening. People like Chief Justice Roberts, they love what these courts are doing because they're usurping more powers and spiting the Orange Man. So we got to end this crap ASAP. And I think it will. I think enough Republicans have realized that this is insane. This is unpopular. We got to end this now because it just got to stop. It's just common sense. Yet again, it's just a common sense thing. It's like, yeah, one judge in California should not be able to decide all the policy in America. No, that's insane. But anyways, folks, thank you so much for watching. If you guys did enjoy, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, and of course, join the channel today. Godspeed to all of you.